inside. The old gods granted me a vision of the way to change reality. In the shadows creeping, can't rest your weary head. No time for you to sleep now, or evil it will spread. So gather all your friends and listen to my tale. Adventure story shaping the magic and the veil. Dragons, devils, demons, and creatures that I fear, and heroes of the north. Just please don't be scared. The heroes are the monsters to the enemy. It all depends upon the way that you proceed. Original GM, we're here to set you free. Come join in the adventure. Who you wanna be? Who you wanna be? We are heroes. We are
Welcome back to Original GM. I'm Hoopahu, once again joined with Wachi and Chikala. You guys ready to get back at it from where we left off?
Mm-hmm.
Last thing that happened was Hedda left the room. We're going to rewind a little bit and go back into the bar where Valia and Ray were sitting.
Okay.
Tatalda comes walking back out, and she comes past you, Ray, and she looks at you and she says, "Can you move over there to that seat?" And she points over across. And then she goes past where you're sitting and sits down at the table.
Yeah, I'll get up and move, but I'll telepathy her and be like, why?
She kind of points her face towards the table next to you where the power females were all sitting, and you see Vase sitting down right there. Next to your mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And all the others, they're sitting there, also Lily's mom and, you know, dear sister. Miss Morrissey, Jade,
Okay.
you know,
Able
powerhouse
to
women.
not be fucked with.
Yeah, not to be fucked with. And
I'll
he's-
see listening.
okay,
But I want to, okay, so like, I don't want to do it where it's like, you know,
noticeable.
where like I turn my head and I'm like trying to listen in, you know, I don't
Okay.
want him to be able to
You
notice.
just sit there and hear what you can hear from where you're at.
Yeah.
Vay's exactly 20 feet away, so you can hear him when he's talking. What's your percentage?
40.
Okay, roll it.
Oh, 1.
Oh yeah, you hear.
Look.
Nice. See.
He says, "Thank you all for coming this evening. It's been a pleasure having you beautiful faces here." He turns and looks to his left, right to your mom, and he goes, "I would like to talk to you." And she kind of closes her eyes like, "Oh goodness," you know. And the rest of the girls kind of quizzically listen. They kind of like, and your mom, you could tell this is completely uncomfortable for her. She is way out of her zone with others around. And he says, "So my brother and I my birthday was today. And I'm aware that our mother birthed us together, and that one of us was given up for whatever reason, I'm not sure. But you cannot see me as your son, even though I came directly from you. Right? You see her kind of go like this, and she puts her hand like to her heart, kind of, and none of the women react in a girlish way, like, or anything like that. They all just stone cold steel eyes, these women, just watching Vay and your mother. So, yeah.
Shit, that
He
means
says, all I'm
Vay-
asking you is for a moment of your time. It doesn't have to be this evening, but it would probably be a great birthday present if you could find the time to talk to me within the next week. And then he stands up and he says, ladies, once again, beautiful, thank you. Thank you for coming. And he turns and walks away from the table. Your mom opens her eyes. You're not really seeing her, I guess, but, you know, because you get your back to her. But
I'm listening for sure.
as you're listening and you're sitting there, you did notice as you guys were in there, the gambling thin song, the Dwarven Bard, got up on stage and started playing.
Nice.
And then Mal comes out, and he sits over next to Tatalda across from the two of you. I need to drink, he says. I wonder if Hedda's coming. And about that point, Hedda comes. You know. And he comes and sits next to Mal. So Tatalda, Hedda, and Mal are all sitting there. And they look for a waitress to order drinks, you know, and they don't see one. And Tatalda leans over and Tuffy goes, I got you. And he turns to Jojo, which is Gavin's little buddy right there, and starts getting drinks.
Nice. Our bottle's still sitting on the table, right?
It is.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna telepathy Delia. Reyes. Like, hey, that's something I want to talk to you about. So, I'm sure you heard Vay earlier, like, giving me shit about not praying for spells yet. And all of that. And it's just so, got some things on my mind. So, like, in the beginning, when I first got my training, I worshipped Ariax, right? And that just doesn't seem right for me anymore. I lost my memory, and when that happened, I went to Wellak. And obviously, that's not me. And then I went to Mira, and Mira and Larkin are amazing, and they have a special place in my heart, but that still just doesn't quite seem like a great fit. And so one of the things that I was thinking was, so like, where does our immortality come from? It comes from, most of all, Mysteria, right?
The best of my understanding.
From what we understand.
You're telepathy, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And so one of the things I was thinking about doing was taking Blackroot, and I don't know if it'll work on us because we're immortal, but taking Blackroot and trying to learn about that and figure out why they picked us if they're the neutral and all of this, because we seem to be their chosen one and protector. Like, there's Bahamut on one side and Tiamat on the other. So it's just something I've been thinking about.
Those are really good questions. You know, the priest and priestess are sitting right behind us. We met them. You remember?
You see the realization come over her face.
Yeah, if you look over your right shoulder, they're sitting there. If you do, let me know. Like, I need to know. But
If
anyway,
we look at them, you need to know.
Master King Ironed Fire, he went to the table where the dwarves were, by the way. There's only two of them sitting there now, but...
Okay.
All right. Okay, real quick, back to the room. You guys had to just leave, you know, what you do. Myra, Lily, and Erez and Courtney.
Eras will look at Lily and be like, I would give my opinion, but I'm pretty sure I already know what you're gonna get. She'll smile at her.
I need a minute.
You leave.
Mhm.
Gorgain will get up with her and nod at you and smile, Lily, and go out with her.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you.
And they nod. Or Gorgain nods, I don't know what you do. So it's just you and Myra left in there. When you walk into the bar, this is what you guys see, Gorgain and Erez. Just, I'm not sure what direction you're going to go to, but freeze frame right there for a moment. Go ahead, Lily. Go ahead, Lily.
I'm gonna telepathy Gordon.
Okay.
Okay, you got a second?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this whole meeting thing with these dwarves, can I bounce some stuff off of you?
Of course.
So I went through a couple of different levels of things with this experience, and so there are these three brothers,
Yes.
the dwarves.
Yes.
You're familiar, right? They're probably, all but one of them will probably still here. And I start to explain to him everything that happened in there. and
Okay.
How
You just fill his head full of
I
everything
do,
happening in there.
how the oldest one is, and
Okay.
that I don't really think that any of them, other than the youngest one, is actually good. That their thoughts and their behavior is jealous and conniving and yeah, it's
Even-
like, you know, at first it was like I was kind of interested in what they had to say, and you know, the items that this guy had, and by the end of it, it's like I feel like
Well, he offered you some crazy things. This is crazy, Lily.
and it
This is crazy. One moment. Give me just a moment. Are you coming back out here?
yeah, I'll come out.
Meet me at the bar, he says.
Okay. And tell her, let's go talk to Gordon and grab him. Let's go.
Okay, Myra and you will go back into the bar from the back room. Okay, when you guys first came out, you and Gorgain, Erez, where do you go?
Erez would have gone over here with little Erez and Mac.
Okay. Gorgain would have come and sat right next to Phalia, next to Tazalda. With head in there, you know, drinking. He was sat down. So Lily, you and Myra go to the bar.
Yeah.
Okay, you sit down right next to Gordon. You on one side and Myra on your other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she'll sit next to David and then you and then Gordon. He tells you. Sounds like spy shit to me, right? Right, so I had him arrested. Their belongings
You
have all
almost
been...
spit my drink. You almost
Their belongings
spit
have all
my
been
drink.
taken and confiscated.
Well.
It's in the courts. About that moment, you guys see the door open up, and the Inquisitor is standing there with your father, and they come into the room, and they look around, they look at the bar, and walk straight up to the bar, up to Vay, and start talking to him.
What?
Are they within 20 feet of Ray?
No.
No.
Lily, you can hear it. They're right next to you.
Yeah.
The Inquisitor and your father.
Yeah.
Look at Vay and
what's
say,
that?
Vay, you have been accused of attempted murder. You need to come with us.
Oh goodness.
And he kind of looks at him like, is this a joke? kind of like, is this a joke? And your dad kind of takes a deep breath and he goes, it's for real, but I assure you we'll work things out, whatever needs to be done. And he's like, who's accusing me of such things? And he says, well, there's several accusations from some of our undead population that they've been poisoned. And they're like, oh, that was an unseen event. He's like, of course it was. Just if you'll come with us, we'll talk with the council and everything, and we'll get it in order and find out what we need to do. And Dave's like, okay, no problem. He goes, I didn't really do anything wrong. He's not wearing any of his equipment. He was in this nice attire. He wasn't, so he just goes across the bar and he looks over Cecilia and he nods and she goes, I got it. He's like, okay. Then he telepathies to Lily and say, hey, I might need some help with this. Evidently I poisoned a bunch of undead.
Yeah, I know. I saw. It wasn't. You didn't know.
No, I didn't know, so hopefully I can get out of this if you'll fill the word in for me. Bailey and Ray, you see him, he's getting soon as he comes over to the thing,
Dad.
they handcuff him.
Dad,
like
Dad,
they put
Dad.
these things on him that go
Oh, goodness.
and glow around his arms, like a wrist behind his back, and Bailey's like, doesn't fight it. He just is like,
Dad,
yes.
I saw what happened. It wasn't a vicious thing. He wasn't
Right.
intentionally trying to poison anyone.
If I were you, I would ask a council member to pardon him right now before we get out of the room so that there's no
Who?
issues. Whoever's in the council that you could convince to do so. He looks around the room, he sees Jamal, he's like, there's Jamal. He says,
Jamal.
are you friends with him?
Yeah, it's telepathy, Jamal.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamal.
Yeah.
They're trying to take Vay in for poisoning some undead citizens of the city.
He laughs in your head.
It was accidental. It was the magic in his alcohol.
Oh.
He didn't know that it was going to poison them. Could you?
Yeah, I pardon. He stands up, excuse me, Officer Inquisitor, and the Inquisitor turns and goes, I'll go ahead and pardon him. I was present. I know the events that have unfolded, and he would be unjustly accused and never prosecuted for such a thing. He goes, very well, thank you, Councilman. And Jamal nods at Vay, and Vay's like, and he undoes him. And then at that point, your dad laughs and kind of holds his arm, and he goes, happy birthday. And he goes, did I just get pranked? And he's like, yep. And he shakes him real good, and Vay's like, and you realize your dad's trying to keep
Rumors.
Yeah, I telepathy Vay. I'm like, just roll with it. He's trying to keep anything
he's like
rumor mill from going crazy.
you trickster, and Vay punches your dad.
Oh, good.
And he punches him on his shoulder, and you know your dad. It hurt him. He's like, and he looks at Vay and then he goes, ha ha ha, and then he laughs. The whole room laughs. You're like, oh, that's gonna leave a mark. And Vay doesn't seem to have done it viciously.
Right.
He's just a big dude.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
maybe he did, but it doesn't appear that way, like from the outward.
Right.
And the Inquisitor and them start to leave, and he goes, please stay, have some drinks. And they both look at him like, they narrow their eyes. They're like, no, we've got duties to get to. We took all the time we could for your birthday. Happy birthday again, boys. And he looks over at his brother, and they leave.
Telepathy, my dad. Thanks, Dad. Love you.
You're welcome.
Good to see you, man.
There still might be issues, he says. You might want to have him look into it.
Okay.
By the
Don't
way,
tell-
I have some dwarves in custody, he says to you as he's walking out.
Hey, can I have that hat? Can I have that hat? That's the only thing you're asking.
You would like some of the possessions that are on these dwarves? For what reason? What I mean,
Well,
right now we can hold them for whatever, but it will have political effects. It will. Some things will happen. The longer we hold them here, probably.
Well, that was all Gordon's deal. He was the one that decided to do that.
Well, okay. I'll talk to him then.
Like, it really did.
But I can't release possessions until we figure out what we're going to do
what?
and what they're charged with. What? So I'll let you know when I guess when the city decides. I don't even know what the accusations are. It's just national security is what Gordon said. So I assume we did something, spies, something. It's something. Which means we can hold them inevitably. We can execute them. I mean, there's.
Well, they came in
But
here.
we don't even have to try them.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to try to look into it and try to do some diplomatic stuff because they are rulers of the Dwarven Kingdom in the south.
They
Other-
tried to come in
Other
here.
than that
and-
Emperor's lady bug.
They tried to come in here and bully me out of my artifacts.
Oh.
That's what happened.
Well, there you go. Why?
Um,
Yeah. You know, I may need to
Because-
question. I may need to question you just so I know what
because
to
they
do.
said they think that they need them to rule, to pull the Dwarven Kingdom together and rule. Like they want me to pick who gets them, and it's like this big old freaking thing. And like they're not really good either. Like they seem to be driven, from what I can tell, from what I have been able to gather of their underlying processes is it's about jealousy and greed and pride and
I understand. So, what do you know of these houses and their history and so what items was it that he was attempting to gain from them?
the crown and the rod of good might.
You hear
Their
a pause on the other end.
oldest brother has the scepter, and then
Okay.
the younger two were also wanting me to give them my items as well.
You have the other two.
I do. Which is how I was able to really tell what their
Isn't-
motivations were.
Is
and, like,
is that not a wonderful thing? I would suppose that my daughter has that kind of power. Wow. I'm amazed. The ancient artifacts of the Dwarven Kingdoms, the Master King forged iron fire crafted the crown and the scepter, the rod for his people probably 3 generations ago. For an elf to be in command of them. Of course you can have the other one, my dear. And my daughter.
You see the irony in it, right?
I do.
Like if they had been like
Roll
good
eyes.
people, like I might have had a different opinion about the items and what was going to happen to them. But the young one is the only one that has a good heart, and he has no wisdom or training to lead his people. So he'll be.
So for you to
But
make the
the
decision.
Dwarven King, our Dwarven King here, our friend, he gave him his blessing and said that he would help him
The bastard king.
in any way that
Well,
he could.
well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Wow. 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 And wow.
Right?
It is an artifacts of their families. They had quite a bit of powerful artifacts with them, dear. Were they going to trade with you? You mentioned a
Yeah,
hat.
the
You mean
hat.
the witch's hat.
The oldest wanted to trade me that hat and then that dragon rod with the 7 stones on it,
Yes.
which
The 7 dragon gods. The rod of the 7 dragon gods.
is connected to some secret that he knows about, which I couldn't read because I
Tell.
couldn't read him with
You
his.
couldn't tell what the secret was.
I couldn't because he had the rod.
My dear.
He had the rod of good might still. Yeah. Sorry.
So you're wearing them now.
Yeah.
You are good again.
Yeah. Irrevocably.
I would say so, as long as they're in your possession, of course. So you're in a moral dilemma as what to do with them. You're asking your father's advice. I will need to think on this. This is quite the thing. There are some items, maybe I should do a further inventory of what they brought with them. They're quite unhappy, by the way.
I'm not. They didn't expect. They expected to come in and bully their way out of into.
Maybe you should speak with them and not just. Well, it's. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not you. It was not you. I'll speak with Gordon. He says.
There you go. Maybe you should too make them aware that it wasn't me. That I did not have them
Gordon
arrested,
did.
so that I'm not.
Okay. That's
Hey.
something I could do.
Don't do that. Don't make him a target either.
Well, I got to make someone the target there. Who do you want me to make the target? Us? Oh, no target. That'll work. We've done that before. You don't know who your accuser is. You don't know what you're being accused of, except for it is against national security, and you will be imprisoned and not questioned for an eternity if we wish it. Now shut up and get in a prison cell. But I'm not quite sure if Alexandra would want to follow along these lines, but she could. And the other council members, Jamal, this will be a council vote.
Right.
Yes.
And so those cities are also without rulers right now too. All three of those Dwarven kingdoms.
Well, that is a matter all in itself, my dear. There is a dwarven female down there that they call Empress or Imperial Empress, I believe. Empress Isabella. You know, they all name themselves kings and princes and queens and empresses in the south just because they control their territory, be it small, whatever. She owns the southern regions. So from there north to the cities of Twin Cities and Mithril and Ilkforge and the mountains themselves, if those individuals are kept here, she will control all of it. Currently, she controls the city of Den, which I know you've been to, where the great library is.
Yeah.
Yes, she controls that southern city of the Dwarven Empire of Goldfish Mountains. She's not really considered a ruler. They see her as a overseer of the library. But she is quite powerful and formidable, and if she saw the chance to take over all the Dwarven kingdoms, she believes it's by her right through marriage, being an ex-wife of one of the former kings, to rule the lands anyway. She was queen once.
Right.
So, yes, she would take it all over, for sure. And they would, the Dwarven people of the north would, yes, they would go into new ways. It would all change. You see, the Dwarven Empire is a complex, you think the politics here are complex. The Dwarven Empire is full of complex politics.
More so.
Some say that she even has a connection to the lower planes, dear. That's not something I think we would want to fall upon the Dwarven people, if you know what I mean. They must have a ruler. Someone, and it must be someone that the people would see as a possibility to be a ruler through bloodline. Your king you speak of, Ironfire. He is an Ironfire, right? So he could rule down there, having been what they considered a bastard son to the king.
Well, the youngest son has been ruling, and.
But if you were to put him in position and he's a good one, but has no skills, then what better way for us in the north to have knowledge of the south? We could instill counselors that will help the young boy and protect him.
Right, and Ironfire said that he would support him and lend him his counsel, and that he would even consider going down and helping him for a while if he were asked to do so. So that's something that we could ask
Dear,
of
you
him.
have slipped upon such a wonderful thing, but I do. Please allow me to share this information with Alexandria. I know that the items you possess hold a important secret with them, and those that would know you possess them would know you have that ability, that secret at your possession. So we will keep this to ourselves, other than Alexandria. I must tell her. And then, of course,
I
your
haven't
mother.
told anyone.
Of course, your mother. I cannot not tell your mother.
The only person that knows is Mara.
Ah. We will keep it amongst ourselves. It is a powerful tool for you. I have nothing to hide from you. It could be easier to have a relationship with you knowing how I feel to begin with. So we do not have to go through those awkward moments
Yeah.
of verbal speech. Yes, sometimes people talk too much.
Well, you know what? You're gonna have to give me permission because I feel I just
You have my permission, dear.
it made me really uncomfortable to even think about trying to do that. to
It's
you.
only fair that I know that you use it. So. Moralistically, I do know that possessing these three items together from a dwarven kingdom of artifacts forged from their very people will cause some ability to. It could be a thing. Not to mention that there were others made during those times. It is said that it was a great pact that three of the great gods offered to the people.
Mhm.
Those that could forge items, and the possession of those items helped their people. There was one of evil, one of good, and one of neutral. And from them came three artifacts each, all crafted to be connected with the fate of a war upon this continent. It's believed that one is of the elves, that it was an elven god, neutrality. Of course, the dwarves. And then yet a darker pact that came from an undead god, those of an evil nature, which we know that the possession of the crown is Dr. Levitt. When those items are near each other, they do not feel one another, but if magic is used from one to the other, they will interact if they're present close to one another. So for instance, using your ability to read minds would cause a crown of one of the others to notice that you have done that.
Good to know. That's really good to know.
Or vice versa, if it's used on you.
Right. So there's got to be, I'm guessing, so one of the things that happened when I added the second item, so I put the crown on first, and some things happened, and then I picked up the rod, and I doubled in size. I grew to double my physical size. It's a side effect of having the two. And I also became poisonous to the touch. Like the kind of poisonous that like only really strong magic can protect you from. So those are like two things that to be able to.
Interesting. So
So
I would
sure
consider
if
those defects
right. So I'm sure if I pick up a third item
something
There'll be
quite
something
catastrophic
else.
could take place, dear.
to happen to me.
Yes.
That.
It's morally up to you what you want to do. The items that he offered you, that they all offered you, if you wish them all, I'll give them all to you and we can decide, or you can decide, what to do with the crowns and the rods and the scepter. Because the power of possessing these three items and the ability to give them to the dwarven people in some fashion would be, it might change how dwarves see elves. Certainly would change how they saw us in the north. To control their people or to not, to just gather intel and see what is there, being free to have access to their cities from their rulers because they're advisors, would tell us so very much. You spoke of a secret.
Yeah, that was part of the trade.
Well,
Secret within the mountain. That
if
is
we were able to
also
send you in.
connected to that rod, that dragon rod. And I gotta tell you, like, I really like when they first started talking to me and stuff. Like, I was kind of excited to like about that hat and that rod and the secret and like all this stuff. But then through talking to them and realizing like they're, for the most part, like I said, not being motivated by good intentions, except for the younger one. And then it was like, okay, well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I can't just hand this.
The Council
over
of
to-
Alexandria would prove immeasurable with this. One of the things that Mira specializes in is artifacts and relics.
Right.
Alexandria would probably have some advice. So
Okay.
let me start there, and also with Gordon. At that point, Gordon kind of gets up and he looks at you, and he left these to Eris. He says, I gotta go to the jail.
How come?
Oh, we arrested these dwarves.
She starts laughing and it said, she like, I freaking knew that's what she was gonna do. I knew it. All right.
All right, so Gordon jets. He leaves. Yeah, so your dad, he just says, I'm gonna talk to Alexandria and I'll let you know.
Okay. Thank you.
And Gordon,
It's a huge decision. I appreciate all of everyone's help.
yeah, and then like I said, Gordon, he just left and he said that to you, Erez. Balia and Ray are sitting at the table with all of these miscreants over here.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
With Tatalba and Mal and Gorgane and Hedda.
yeah. Gambling Thin Song is the dwarf still plays. He still continues to play a little music.
Mm-hmm.
Erez,
Yeah.
you're sitting at the table with your daughter and Mac when you come out, and all this shit's been going on around you. You've just been talking to her, and she's been listening to this dwarf play, and you realize that he's pretty good, man. He's pretty good on his little. It's a miniature guitar-looking type device that he's playing on instrument, and he's pretty damn good. You realize he's probably a Magna alumni, and he gets the crowd to revel and drink a little bit. Like a lot of the patrons are all. It's like drinking songs that he's singing about.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're just drinking some nectar of the gods and getting to know Gorgane and
Bay says thank you again to you. Erez,
Yes.
you hear excuse me from right behind you.
Turn and look.
Sitting in the table next to you, kind of catty cornered, you see Lord Gaul, the Knight of St. James, the dragon slaying
The one we met
cult
a long time ago.
church. Yeah, I met a long time ago, and he warned you about all the dragons and all that stuff.
What is his title?
Lord
Lord
Gaul is his name.
She said, hello, Lord Gaul. Smile at
Good
me.
evening. I must say that I enjoyed your spoken and musical renditions of what took place in heaven, even though it was only but a short 3 songs.
Thank you. We just got back today, but there will be more to come.
So you stated in the song, he kind of moves his chair out and towards you. You stated in the song, Bahamut was wounded.
Yes.
You also stated they had been joined into one?
Yeah.
Calling it Tiamat in your song?
Yeah, it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
He nods. Our prophecies state and speak of the multicolored dragons coming. This is the warning we gave you in the beginning. We told you there will be dragons of all colors in the sky. Silver, gold, blue, green. We did not say in what forms because we did not know. Once again, if the time comes and you need our services, please do not hesitate to ask. Our groups of dragon slayers are quite apt at what they do.
I will definitely keep that in mind, and I will pass the word along to them, and she'll kind of nod to Lilia and Ray.
Oh. He kind of looks in that direction, confused. He's like looks and he sees the lady sitting at the table, you know, the power lady, and he kind of looks at you again, and then
The protector and the chosen one. She smiled.
he kind of raises an eyebrow.
No?
What do you speak of? Oh, you mean in the song, the protectors and the chosen one? Oh, they're in here, and he turns and you point them out.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yes, yes. There was so much in your song, and it was just but a moment ago. It's hard for me to remember it.
It's okay.
Yes, perhaps we should speak with them. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you
And
too.
he scoots his chair back. That was going on while Lily was telepathy, and you see Gordon leave about that point and tell you he's leaving yours.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, I haven't seen that guy in a long time. A long time. It was level 1 the last time I talked to him.
Right. Right.
It was a long time ago. You were, yeah. It was a while ago. He told you guys in the beginning there was going to be dragon problems.
He did, I forgot.
Long time ago.
It's hilarious. At the time.
And nobody believed him. You're
At
like,
the
what?
time, I was
You
like,
guys-
really?
These guys are crazy.
Hey, dragons haven't been seen in
Yeah.
hundreds
The
of
church,
years.
the Church of St. James.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Gambling gets through with his song, and you realize that Jeffrey and Falcon they're over here. He'll come over and sit with them with the other bars. They're all sitting at the same table with this professor, Professor Echo, one of the mages. The other mage, remember, she teleported out.
Yeah.
Not sure why. Even coincidence, but maybe not.
Ray will telepathy Vay. Be like, what the hell was that?
You were trying to arrest me. I think it was a joke, maybe not, maybe it was real. You say I poisoned some undead, like some kind of, with bottles. Maybe the nectar of gods doesn't do well with them.
Alright.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Lion ass.
Right.
You can tell he sounds a little bit inebriated in your telepathy.
Does he?
He does.
He's lying.
He's got his buzz on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, he's in front of Lily and Myra, and he's talking to Myra, actually, is who he's talking to.
Mm.
And he asks her, he's like, so, there's a dude over there, sitting at the table over there, who came in, fits the bill of the mysterious stranger, the one that you drew the card from.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Don't you have a card to a ethereal keep or some shit like that right outside Beacon? And he looks at her and she's like, yeah, I'm the queen of it. She smiles at him real big. And he's like, oh, so you've been there? She's like, no. Not yet. We plan to check it out. And she looks at you.
Yeah.
We just haven't got around to it yet.
Yeah.
He was like, well, the city of Beacon is being held hostage by some bandits, evidently, or something. I don't know. Might be something to look into.
Not a hostage.
No?
No. Not hostage. It's we received a message that they are holding it for the heroes of the North.
Oh.
That they're there and they're holding it for us, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Something we should probably
That
check
doesn't sound
out.
like that doesn't sound like a trap, he says.
Not at all, right?
Not at all.
Yeah. Especially because, do you know the whole story about them?
I don't. But I'll listen, he says and smiles at you.
So, before we had control of Patient X, there was some bullshit going on. Where they had this mud and this whole process that was creating the juju zombies out of people. And taking people and turning them into these juju zombies and whatnot. And that whole Crazy Dog was Crazy Dog Lake. That was Crazy Dog Canyon back then.
Crazy Dog Lake was a canyon.
It was. It was called Crazy Dog Canyon.
What happened?
Well, it was full of all of these bandits, like thousands and thousands of bandits that were all being turned or had been turned into juju zombies.
Like a cult or something.
Kind of, yeah. And so we had the grand...
Juju zombies, like I had to grab, the 10 I had to grab and bring in alive.
Yeah.
Those things.
Yeah.
They were responsible for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
So we decided to flood that canyon. And...
Hold on. You said thousands of bandits were in that canyon,
they weren't...
making people into Juju zombies, and you flooded the canyon and killed all the living souls, and the Juju zombies survived and swam out, right? I assume, because they're not living.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'd be pissed at you too if I survived something like that. I think I'd be a little angry. Holy shit, Lily.
So,
Who did this? You got the Heroes of the North did this? Who did? How did you flood the whole
face.
I'm sorry. I'm like, dude, I feel so good right now.
You
And this is a great
realize that
story.
some shit's not in songs for reasons, right?
There's a reason you didn't know
There's a reason you don't know that story. Shush it.
Fucking funny.
Shush it. So now it's Crazy Dog Lake. And I highly doubt that those bandits are holding Beacon for us.
No, they
As
probably,
you
they
previously
probably want to
said.
drown you.
Yeah.
In that city.
And a bunch of other stuff too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you might want to be careful then if you go check that out.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Thanks for that story.
They'll be going to spread that shit around.
Oh, don't worry. It's okay. Nobody needs to know. That's entertainment enough for me. The fact that I know, nobody else knows.
It's worth it.
It's worth it, yeah.
Good.
Absolutely.
Not everything gets written about.
So, you guys see Riven
Mm.
go up on stage, and everybody kind of gets quiet. Like all the bards.
Yeah,
you know.
get quiet and
He
listen.
gets up there and he kind of just walks up and he puts his hand like over his face and deep here in the depths, there are no stars. Deep here in the depths, we is stoned, immaculate. Then he turns and walks back off stage, and everybody's kind of. You hear one person start to clap right away, and you see these people start to snap.
There's, yeah.
And he goes off the stage and goes and sits back down. Yeah,
For sure.
that's what he does.
Nice, that was cool.
So the stage kind of stays empty for a second after he does it. Nobody really goes up or anything. Yeah. White Rabbit will come to you, Lily, and sit down next to you.
Hey, you.
Hey.
How the hell you been, man? What's wrong?
Better than I ever would have been if I hadn't, hooked up and met you. He says, life's great, Lily. How about you?
Yeah.
At that point, Bella comes up next to him at the bar and kind of smiles and puts her hand on his shoulder and kind of leans over the bar. And she goes, Vay. And he's like, she goes, 3 bottles, please. And he goes, sure thing. And he sees Vay bartend. He grabs 3 bottles and comes over to her. She turns and looks and she goes, hi, Lily.
Hey, you.
In the bar.
How you guys doing?
Oh, I'm great. She says, I'm great. Thanks, Faye. She takes it. She leaves from the bar real quick, and he kind of blushes, and he's like, takes a big deep breath at that point.
The kids really think they're hiding anything.
Apparently, they think they're slick.
Right? Like what?
He just kind of turns and looks at you for a second, and he's like just standing at the bar after having takes a deep breath, and he kind of looks forward, and then he turns and kind of looks at you like that. And he's like, shakes his head like he knows he's busted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like before, he wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Now he knows.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say anything. He just stays quiet. And Bay's like, do you want to work? And he looks at Rabbit, and Rabbit goes, oh no, I don't need anything. I got a job. And he looks at you, and he's like, oh, okay.
He's my assistant.
That explains a lot, he says. He smiles. He goes back down this way towards Cecilia and starts talking to her. Bay does. Rabbit just kind of sits there uncomfortable for a second. And Myra's like, you remember we told you we'd kick your fucking ass if you hurt her, right? And he's like, absolutely. I have no bad intentions whatsoever. I got her back. I walk her home. I do everything I can to take care of her. And she's like, okay. Is there anything you guys need? He says, and he says you guys this time. He doesn't say Lily. He just says, is there anything you guys need?
You know, I kind of just been counting on the fact that you're taking care of
Oh, all the normal stuff's done.
all my financial shit.
That's all done.
because
That's all done. Calculated,
Yeah, I can't
documented.
imagine.
Everything's good.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, my head is full of prophecy and artifacts and kingdoms and rulers and
He nods at you. He's like, yeah.
the
Sounds
whole,
like that's out of my pay grade. He says.
the whole reason I hired you to begin with.
Yeah, I got you on this end. I don't know what you're dealing with over there. Wow. That sounds crazy.
It does. I miss our home though, I gotta tell you. Even though it's only been like 2 days.
It's still there. You know,
Is it?
it's everything's still there.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's still standing?
What? The house?
Yeah.
The apartment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Shut your mouth.
The mountain survived everything. It's fine. Everything up there is fine.
So everything
There's a
that's
few,
up,
there's a few things that have been destroyed here and there on the towers and part of the castle that from the dragon attacks, but everything's and they're still there.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Our tower stood. It wasn't attacked. The apartment's fine. It's there.
Wow, that's amazing. I guess when they said the whole thing was underwater, I just
There's been a lot of bandits moving through those areas, and so the most recent rumors I have is that there are bandits there now. So that may be an issue that needs to be taken care of if you want to go there. But before, when I saw it, right after, it was not occupied or destroyed.
right. Well, it is now. You actually just missed the conversation that I had with Bay. Remember the Crazy Dog? Remember Crazy Dog Canyon? Remember
Oh yes, yes, yeah.
the Crazy Dog Lake
We need
bandits?
diverted the river.
We
Yeah.
just got a message that they are holding the city of Beacon for us as our allies.
As your allies, holding it for you.
That
He
was
kind of looks at you sideways. He's like, man,
yeah.
they're bandits.
They are.
They want something. They
They-
got something.
Probably,
They probably.
my head on a stick, probably for starters.
It might not be that serious. They might just want money or power, peace, and something. I don't know. You know how bandits are. They're looking for wealth.
Right.
Well, I mean, some of them. Some of them are just downright evil.
Mm.
Just depends on what group you're talking about.
Well, these are the Juju zombie.
The ones that made the Juju zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's the same bandits, if it's the same ones, you should find that out.
That's the intel.
I'll see what I can't find out. Give me a little bit, he says, and he's still sitting there.
Okay.
She comes back up to the bar, Bella. She goes, man, I am loving this place, she says, and she smiles. Gavin comes up, he's like, what you need, honey? And she's like, I need 5 more bottles. He's like, okay. And he grabs them.
Nice.
You see Rabbit look at him when he does it and hands them to her, and you see him watch everything that Gavin's doing. And you see Bella smiles at Gavin, like, and she's like, thanks. And you could tell Rabbit's like, he didn't like it. You can tell. You could just feel it off of him that he didn't like it. And then he kind of goes back to normal when she walks away.
Mm. Mm.
She
Like
goes,
he doesn't like the fact that she's working here.
you're not sure if she got jealous of Gavin, if he got jealous of Gavin, or if he doesn't like that she's working here, but something.
Mm.
And she goes back over to the table with the elves and puts them down there.
So
All right.
Eris,
Rabbit's gonna move, and
sorry.
he says, I'll let you know what I find out.
Okay, thank you.
He goes down a little bit towards the kids, down that way. Where Chitalda and them were sitting.
Okay.
Down by Bethany. Okay.
Eris is gonna get up
All
and
right.
walk over to where Lily and Myra are.
Okay. There's a seat next to him, next to Lily.
She'll sit down next to Lily.
Okay.
Hey.
Faye immediately walks up.
Hey.
Hey.
I have an idea. I kind of want to go check out this bandit thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How come?
Aren't you
Eris
curious?
says this?
Yeah. I'm just like, aren't you curious?
Yeah, I'm curious. I actually have. I actually have White Rabbit looking
Was that
into
Bay?
it.
No.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, I know they're bandits, but, you know, everybody wants something. So,
It's absolutely a trap.
oh, for sure. But I don't think it's anything we can't handle.
Rabbit said he's going to do some recon on it. He said he'd let me know. So that's kind of what we were thinking too. And then also there's, I don't know if you remember, but that card that Myra drew that had that castle on the ethereal plane.
Mm-hmm.
We were thinking about checking that out as well.
Hmm.
About that point, Eric, right up next to you, it seems out of nowhere, The mysterious stranger steps up to the bar and looks at Gavin and says, "Excuse me, can I have a bottle?" "Hello," he says.
Hi.
Looks down at Lily and down at Myra and Bay. And Bay's like, "Hey, how you doing, buddy?" It's good. He's like, "I'm glad you came tonight. Thank you for coming." He goes, "So I wouldn't have missed it." "Excellent music," he says to you.
Thank you.
Gavin gives him the bottle and he goes, "Thank you." He sets it on the bar and just kind of sits there for a second. "I still have cards from the deck that you may draw from at any time.
He's talking to Eris, right?
Just let me know," he says.
She'll nod.
"Thanks for the bottle." He looks at Bay and Bay goes, "My pleasure, my pleasure. Enjoy yourself. Let me know if we can get you anything." And he goes back and sits down at the table over there.
I never drew my cards. She would say, "Look at Lily."
What you scared of?
Are you kidding?
It's all good. The deal was that it was kind of like a reward for something that we were doing. I know we were already doing it, but so there's nothing bad can come from it. It can only be good. Like
Hedda?
a gift.
Hedda
Right.
and Gorgain come up next to you guys and sit down at the bar. They leave the table billion, right?
Okay.
And they come down. You know, they sit up and fill the bar right there in that area. And I'll pull it up here. Hold on. Hedda says to you guys, whatever he said, don't believe it. Don't trust that guy at all.
Who? The stranger?
Yeah, the guy that was just here. He says,
She would look at Lily and laugh.
don't trust him.
I was just trying to soothe her nerves.
No. I'm kind of saving it for, I don't know.
I don't know what he said to y'all, but well, I'm just saying, whatever the fuck it is, don't trust it. Or again, Hedda, you just starting to get into your cups. Be gentle on them, let them. They're grown-ass adults. Take a drink off of beer.
Well, if you remember, he made a deal with us to let everybody draw one positive card out of the deck after we came back from that, whatever it was we were doing.
I also remember having to save somebody. Gorgon says.
That was me. She would look at him, and that was from the negative cards.
I understand. I know the power of those cards. I'm still not completely convinced that if it's good, it's always good and all the way good to it. That's just my personal opinion. Where's all this music? There's been a lot of it, but there should be more. It's too quiet. And Vay's like, oh, no problem. At that point, you start hearing Eris's Z-Stick songs come from nowhere and everywhere.
What the hell?
How's that? And he's like, yeah, that'll do. That'll do.
How did you do that?
I bought it.
What do you mean you bought it?
Yeah, I have connections with some lower planes individuals that sell things. And
Oh.
I was able to get it, and I can project it through the bar. The magics. And other songs that I got. It'll switch after yours. This song is a song about Lily. Part 1. That's what it starts with.
She'll look at Lily and
the
be
mouth.
like, I love you. It's the one about her vampire.
You see the kids all get up. You see Bethany over at the end of the bar. She's flipping bottles and just dancing to it. Like, songs about her. She's dancing.
Oh, it's the Bethany one.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was the Lily.
Sorry, the Bethany one, not the Lily. The Bethany one, part one. There's part
Oh,
one, part
yeah.
two. Yeah, it's part one. And the kids all seem to love this song, and they actually get out onto the dance floor in the center of the room and start to dance.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? You
Yeah.
guys gonna dance?
Yeah. Oh goodness.
Of course.
You look over there, Doobie's on the dance floor with the kids, and so's Remy. Remy's sitting there dancing, his sister's dancing. Yeah, it's just all of them. They're all. Lauren is kind of in the middle dancing. The only ones you don't see dancing are Lucy and Dusty. They don't dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's going on, and music's playing.
Beautiful.
You see a few patrons get up, and they dance too. They're gonna get jiggy with it.
Right.
And you know, you guys are roughly, I mean, besides Ray, you guys are all the same age over here. For the most part, it's just the youngins.
The babies.
Then you would see David and Rila get up and they dance together.
Nice.
Then the dwarf over here, gambling,
Uh-huh.
he seems to convince this professor Echo to get out on the dance floor and they start dancing. So they're all dancing behind you and the place is just hopping.
No.
Nice. Nice.
So Hedda gets his drink and he goes back to the table where the dwarves were with Gorgain,
Okay.
where the king is, and they sit down and watch the kids dance.
Nice.
So it's just the three of you sitting right there. Era's, Lily, and Myra. And then Velia and Ray are dancing.
Cool.
Ray's like, I got a couple things to do. I'll be back. If you get a jet or something, it's cool. Thanks for coming. I'll see you tomorrow, I guess, if I don't see you.
They is saying that?
Mm-hmm.
To Aries, Lily, and Myra.
To everybody.
Okay.
Telepathies to everybody, right?
Cool.
He says, if anybody needs me, of course. Telepathy me.
Okay. We see.
All right. The dance ends, or the first song ends, and it goes on to another song that you've never heard before.
Nice.
And it's some kind of folk song. It's not real easy to dance to. So
Hmm.
you go sit down somewhere. The kids start to, you know, they move and they sit back down.
Go sit down.
Yeah, let's go say hi to my dad.
Okay.
No, you would say that
To who?
Ray. To my dad.
Velia said to Ray she wants to go say hi to her dad.
Okay.
I should probably go say hi to my mama too.
So you're gonna go talk to your dad over here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna sit next to Jamal then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ray's cool with you, Ma.
Okay. Your dad's like, hey.
Hey.
He hugs you.
I'll hug him back.
Wonder when you were gonna come say hi. You see Griffin goes,
Hi.
How have you been? What have you been doing?
Harrison does the same thing, and Bear comes over and gives you a hug. He's there at the table. Hey, youngins, give me a hug.
Yeah.
And Jamal doesn't get up, of course. He just sits there looking around the room. I've been busy with the school. Yeah, there's, we took on a school which is not necessarily in line with the Elderly Council in Verb, so there's been some political things take place. My father's very angry with me and Gordon. Kind of broke a tenant. Something that'll get you excommunicated, they say.
Right, what kind of?
So yeah, he looks over at Ray and he's like, this hasn't happened in some time, but the last time it happened, it changed people's lives.
Yeah.
We've had some interesting things take place. Yeah.
More questions than answers.
I have some answers, but many of them I can't speak of. You have access to the Burberdine school, though. I'm sure if you hang around there long enough, you'll see what's going on. It's for the better, I think. Lots of the orcs have been trained in the arts and are now Burberdine Rangers.
I saw that.
And even more have added a religious sect to it and separated themselves from the Burberdine in a way.
Really?
Known as the Darkened Guard. Yes.
Is that something that you're teaching at this new school?
It seems to have an effect on the Yorkish Burberdine. It seems to be something within their community. It involves my brother being some sort of demigod or something.
Yeah.
Sect of the Darkened Guard are, in reality, assassins with ranger abilities, with Burberdine abilities. Said there's going to be some sort of great culling with their hosts soon. I don't know how they're going to do it. But many of them all at once are going to retain their ghosts. That's the rumor. A lot going on. Lots happened in the last 3 days or so.
Yeah.
I mean, Ranger School is also religion now and of sorts. Your uncle is more than we all thought he was, I suppose. Or at least the orcs think so.
So much so that he is able to grant prayers and spells now, I guess.
From what I hear,
That's what he told me.
yeah. Could be the old saying that the gods walk amongst us is true. But my own brother, this is not something I expected. I'm not sure it's something he expected. I think it just happened.
Right?
Someone squirted a wand of wonder because there's moths everywhere in our house. It's crazy. Moths
Is it
everywhere.
really?
Here was I got it.
Yeah, they're flying around. Moths flying everywhere. We got them all over the place.
Yeah. 1, 2,
kind of maybe a premonition as a moth to the flame. That's what's happening to your characters. No.
Be nice.
So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Griffin says it was a pleasure to go to heaven with y'all. Really, me and Griffin really appreciate the support we've received and landed in port here.
Yeah.
Eric's like, we're good folk. Most of us merchants and farmers at heart, cooks and bakers, and candlestick makers, and woodworkers, and potters, and leather workers, and chainmail. Hell, the heroes of the North, they each of them, they all have their own set of skills. Merchant-like, craftsmanship-like skills. We're good folk, he says. And you're one of us now. He says that he's talking to Harrison.
Right.
You're one of us now. You and that there, what do you call yourself, fella? And he goes, he goes, his name's Griffin. He goes, oh, Griffin. That's much easier, he says. But if I could speak that, I would call you that. Is that a dialect? I mean, well, what are you? He says. What are you? And he goes off into language. I think it was Ares that spoke it. So
Zira.
Zira that spoke. You guys don't understand it. He babbles on for a while, and Bear's like, yeah. I mean, it goes on for a good while. You see Jamal kind of smile, and your dad takes a drink, and Harrison kind of rolls his eyes and takes a drink, and he goes on for probably a good 3 minutes and then stops. And Bear, yeah, like he was like, yeah, and then he turns and looks over at Harrison and goes, what'd he say? He goes, that's too much. It was too much. He says, it's too much. Every time it comes to it, I just tell folks, when you decide to yourself which came first, the chicken or the egg, let me know, and then I'll tell you what the hell he is. And he holds his drink up like that, and Griffin smiles and holds his drink up. Salute, the drink, and you all take a drink. You notice a guy behind Chevy that's kind of staring at you guys, the two of you. And he doesn't, he looks like a knight. You see a symbol on his chest, on his lapel that holds his cloak, his side cloak on.
Mm-hmm.
That actually he's got a full cloak on, and so he has two of them, and there's symbols of lances going through a dragon's mouth and out their heart and out the bottom of them. And that's what he has on his chest, and he's just looking at you guys. He
Just
smiles. He smiles when he gets your attention. He smiles at you, and he's big. He's like 6'5". He's bigger than Bay, older than Bay. Big dude. This guy right here.
Smile and nod.
You kind of look at him, and then you notice at the table sitting with him are three other individuals that look rather crusty, old. They're like seasoned. That's the best word to say.
Crusty.
Seasoned, yeah. They're all seasoned, and they're all old with some gray starting to show here in their latter years. And he kind of waves to his right with his hand to you guys when you look at him. He goes,
She would look
drink
at
like
Belia. Oh. Like to toast?
no, to like come sit next to him. He's like,
Yeah, she would look at Belia.
okay.
Just that a symbol on his chest?
Yeah, she'll telepathy her dad. Do you know this guy?
Oh yeah, that's the cult of St. James. I mean, the Church of St. James. He says,
What does that mean?
ah man, those fuckers have been around for thousands of years. They show up everywhere, but it doesn't seem like they ever do anything. I know they came to Beacon to try to help with the dragon problem. And supposedly the prophecy is anti-dragon. Anything that is dragon, they believe should die and be dead forever.
So like me.
Well, not Vulcan people. I don't think there's a distinction on that. I think those are considered separate, actually, in their politics or their religion. Vulcan people are special people, the people that have been downtrodden by the dragon. It actually, if you're Vulcan, they see you as special.
Huh. I think
Most
he
likely.
wants to buy us a drink.
We'll have a drink. It's time you girls shake your things around a little bit, get to know folks. And by shaking your things, I mean your fucking prowess and your skill and your armor and your fucking metal and shit. Go shake it around.
Better be what you
No.
mean.
You remember. You remember when you were young, I told you how these fuckers used to do it? We
Yeah.
didn't have to do it because we were in the woods.
Yeah.
Oh, her. She knows what she's doing. He looks over at you.
Alright.
Time to bang your chest. He just kind of looks at you.
Alright.
Hell, have a good time.
Come on,
Okay.
let's go.
So you guys go over?
Yeah.
Who sits right next to him? Because he sits to where you either have to sit between him and another guy, or the two of you can sit here, but one of you has to sit next to him. Or you could put one on each side of him.
Ray wouldn't let her sit next to
Okay,
him,
that's kind of what I figured. So
Yeah.
Ray will sit right next to
even
him.
though she don't want to sit right
Well,
next to
there's
him.
another dude over here, though, that's sitting next to
Oh,
So if you wanted Ray not sitting on next to anybody but him, you could do that, and then you could go here. But I don't know. What do you
Or
want
on
to
the right side of
do?
me.
There and there.
yeah, that's fine.
This knight right here that's sitting next to Valia,
Mhm.
old red hair, but it's part of his red beard that's coming down. He's human. Is white.
Mm-hmm.
It just streaks down, and he's got these piercing blue eyes. And all of them, when you look at them, they look like they have scars and cuts and jagged pieces of flesh missing in different places on their arms, knuckles, chins, foreheads, cheeks. Like all of them have what you look at and immediately recognize as dragon wounds. They've all been, except for this Gaul guy, that he doesn't seem to have any on his face that are real noticeable until you get close to him, and now you can see Ray. He's got one right here back on his jawline.
Oh
There's
goodness.
just one long streak that follows his jawline,
Shit.
and you can see that the hair kind of grows over it a little bit, but not enough. He still has a scar.
That's intense.
And
It's like an
he smiles at
head
you. He says,
off.
"Please, please." He says, "It's a pleasure, chosen one and protector." And they all do that. They all go and salute you.
It's
And they stand up.
Please.
Oh goodness.
Please sit down. Thank you for joining us.
It's a, it's a pleasure.
So you all were in heaven too. We heard the songs.
Yeah,
Bahamut was booming.
he was. You're gonna laugh.
And Tiamat is what he became from what we hear. We have concerns.
Yeah? What are your concerns?
We are considered a sanctioned religion within Mirabilia, and we're also in Beacon and various other cities across the continent. We have been here for thousands of years, and we have watched the dragons. We have protected mankind from them, longer than any other group or source in known history, including that of the chosen one of protectors in the prophecy. We are older than that prophecy itself. We were responsible for knowing what the dragons wanted to do in the long run, which was have this plane to themselves. We knew that long ago. It was us who, and our ancestors who made them change their ways. That is when they created the Vulcan and cursed those people with their very blood. Not by their choice. Luckily it came out a good thing. For most of the Vulcan are special creatures that have the blood of dragons. Can enable them to overcome hardships against our enemy. And make no mistake, the great serpents are our enemies. Even you. You may claim to know them and be them, but be around them. And what your goals may be may not totally entitle annihilating them completely off the face of this planet. But that is what you should do, for they will kill us all.
Well, if Bahamut and Tiamat come together and they come after the human race, that's our job.
He kind of turns and he looks. It is written in our prophecy that this is what will happen. We have told them not only a mirabilia but a beacon, and they will not listen. No dragon should be trusted. If we could pray, we would pray to our God. But that has been something we have not been allowed to do for a very long time. But we still hold to the tenets and the ways. We are each a dragon slayer. I offer our services. The four of us, for your cause. We will serve you until death. And he does that, and the others do the same. He says, or until the dragons are gone. And the day that they are gone will be the day that we are elated with joy and can return back to what man should be doing. Creating, enjoying, having a family, various other things. Please allow us to travel with you. Please allow us to help destroy these dragons. We will tell you what we know. We will help you in your endeavor.
Tell us what you know about this egg. How long is its gestation? When does it hatch? What are we looking at?
It seems that the very friends that you know, such as Ares and others, know that its name is Tiamat. That is what it is pronounced within the old texts. A joining of the two. The great beast Tiamat. It is said to be one of the most wise and intelligent beings one moment, and the next nothing but a rabid beast that cannot be controlled. It is said that they control all dragon kind, and their attempts will be to wipe all living creatures off this planet and make it theirs. There are 3 lines of thinking with the prophecy, 3 separate scrolls. One states that there will be a great rod to bring the dragon gods back, and that this rod will destroy all dragon kind, save for the gods themselves. That is one of the scrolls. There are other scrolls that state that every living man, woman, and child will die, save one. One being will survive, and the dragons will all fall. And still yet another prophecy says that it is unknown what will happen, or if anything will happen. It will be left to the fates of time to foresee that if the loop continues itself again, then there will be no need for the prophecy. We will see what happens. But what we believe is that prophecy can be broken.
Yeah.
It is not for old men to write stories to tell us to go by. We take our spear and our sword and our shields in our hand, just as you, and destroy these scaly beasts one at a time. It would be our honor to serve next to you in this endeavor. Merely tell us which, where, and when, and we are there.
We've already broke prophecy.
What?
We've already broken prophecy. We didn't kill Bahamut.
You don't understand. Our prophecy does not speak of you killing Baphomet.
It speaks of what we did.
It speaks of what you did, what you have done. It was the great St. James that struck the last one down, the only beast left alive. We do not know how they came back, but they did.
Great St. James?
Yes, a benefactor. It is said it was over 50,000 years ago when St. James, one of our kind, struck down the last worm. He shows you his pendants, you know, that are holding his book. He goes, this is St. James,
Look at that.
the hero of great legend. You see it. It's just a knight that's got this sword that looks like it became a lance. And it's going through the dragon's mouth from above. As the dragon's breathing fire to the sides, out its mouth, the sword is going through its mouth, down its neck, and through its heart, and out the bottom of the dragon. So it's like, you know, and he's above it.
She would telepathy Valia and be like, I might be reaching. But it seemed weird to me that it's St. James.
It does, doesn't
Like
it?
King James?
Right. I was
Like
thinking the same
Bahamut?
thing. I was thinking the same thing.
I hope I'm not reaching, but that just seems a little too much of a coincidence.
I don't think so, not considering the fact that we saw him as Bahamut.
So we will serve you. You just need to let us know. We have several dragon slaying units of dragon slayers prepared and ready. But us ourselves, we will travel anywhere with you personally, the two of you.
Thank you.
We do have one question that seems to make us a little bit uneasy, and he looks over at the bar and he says, those two. And he points over towards Nan and Bo. Are they not enemy?
No. No. They are
We're friends.
our friends. They disagree
An
with
ally.
Bahamut and what he's done.
And they've gone against their number one rule
To not fall in love.
and have fallen in love with each other. And we helped them get married while we were in the heavens.
Interesting. A wedding in heaven, that seems amazing.
It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, there is a storm coming, and it does not say that we have very long. You remember when the first wave came through and it destroyed Beacon?
Yeah.
That was innumerable. There were so many. All of those young ones, all of those beings that fought through the wars in the coming days from that point, all perished. There are not many dragonkin left alive on the planet, save for those that are strong enough. The strongest survived, and that is what we have left. And if they are controlled by one master, we can only hope at times that master will become the beast and be unable to do what it needs to be done. That is a weakness.
It is.
So let us know if you need us.
Thank you.
Thank you. We absolutely will.
Mal telepathies, the two of you. Hey, girls, what are you
Hey,
doing over there?
talking to this guy. We were just about to get done. She'll kind of loop around through various and
Yeah.
go to stand up.
It's a pleasure to meet you too.
It is
Please
a
let us
pleasure.
know when we can be of service.
Absolutely.
Please do not let it go like those of Beacon have before.
Thank you.
So you go over there to Mount?
Yeah.
Back over to that table?
Yeah.
The high priest and priestess of Mistobal and Mysteria kind of look at you when you walk over.
Smile.
They
Same.
they smile at you. Mal's like, sit down, sit down.
Yeah, she'll sit. Sit.
So the two of you had mentioned that you weren't sure if Blackwood still worked.
Yeah. Yep.
I wonder if it would.
Me too.
The reason I wonder is because it seems to have effect on others.
Others.
That are chosen.
Okay.
So
Still kind of looking at
I
it.
thought you might want to know. Okay, you turn looking in and Vogue.
Yeah.
They're both just sitting there kind of cross-legged
Okay.
on the bar stools. And they both have their eyes closed. They're just kind of like what they're meditating is what it looks like. Tuffy's sitting there next to them on the right, Volk's right. And Tatalda's sitting there next to Tuffy and they're talking. Tatalda and Tuffy are talking.
Okay. Maybe it would work. How amazing would that be? It would be the first thing outside of the nectar of the gods that's affected us in any way.
So, it seems like your characters as a party as a whole are dividing off into little subgroups to possibly do subplots, subquests, personal quest lines, whatever. Like Zira has already done about 10 and a half hours ago. Luckily no one's
Tried to figure out
tried to figure out where she's at or clapping to her to my blessed thanks.
Yeah, I don't even know where she's at.
Nonetheless, we're going to call those shadow sessions. And shadow sessions, say that 3 times real quick. They're going to involve personal characters' endeavors. And we'll record this. Some of them will be with both you still. Some of them will just be singled out. It depends on what it is, depending on the groups of what's taking place here. Like Zira's will be solo for sure. But that's where we're going to quit for this evening. It's been a good game. I think we've had a good game, and it's time's kind of flown by. But appreciate you guys coming. We'll see you next week, and we'll get back to it. Once again, this is Original GM. Like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Watch, comment down below. Tell us what you thought. Peace.
There's a gift inside your God's granted me, a vision of the way to change reality. In the shadows creeping, get rest, you will be here. No time for you to sleep now, or evil it will spread. So gather all your friends and listen to my tale. Adventure story shaping magic and the veil. Dragons, devils, demons, and creatures that I fear, and heroes of the known. Just please don't be scared. The heroes are the monsters to the enemy. It all depends upon the way that you proceed. Original GM, we're here to set you free. Come join in the adventure.